everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Ware Presents. We're about to connect with Amazon Live, but I'm excited about this next segment. We have something that we've been talking a lot about on Amazon Live, as well as on Cyrus Ware Presents, both for Facebook and also on LinkedIn. We're glad to welcome Twitter to our family today, as well as YouTube. We're talking about the product you guys see here. It's called Panoxol. I'm excited to welcome back Dr. Ronnie and also Dr. Matthew Michaels. We also have someone who is using Panoxol joining us well, Travis Baber. He's going to be talking about his own experience as well. Everyone, if you guys will hold tight, we're going to go ahead and do a quick check on Facebook, make sure we have all the settings good. And we're going to go ahead and bring in our Amazon Live family. If you all are joining us on any of the platforms, you'll notice there's a link for Amazon because Panoxol is actually on sale right now as we're in this shopping season for 40% off. You guys can get a bottle today on Amazon for $52.80. I was just telling the doctors I've already ordered me another bottle because it's 40% off right now, which is a really good deal. We want to talk to you guys about the benefits of Panoxol. Also, of course, let you guys know where you can go for more information as well. Just going to check and make sure that everything is public for us here on Facebook, and we are all set there. And I'm going to go ahead and connect with Amazon Live.
Fantastic.
And you all are watching Cyrus Ware Presents here on Amazon Live as we're gearing up for Cyber Monday. I'm going to be with you guys all day on Cyber Monday here on Amazon Live. But today we have a little bit of a preview of a product that is on sale right now on Amazon. And we're excited to welcome some great guests to talk about it. I'm talking about Panoxol. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it there in the carousel. You guys will see it right now. It's on sale for $52.80 here on Amazon. If you guys look below in the carousel, you'll see it there. That's 40% off. I was just telling our guests I've already ordered me another bottle because it's such a great deal. Again, as we're gearing up for Cyber Monday, we're excited to welcome back Dr. Ronnie and also Dr. Matthew Michaels. Also joining us for the first time today, we're excited to welcome someone who's taken Panoxol like myself. That is Travis Baber. Hello to the three of you, and welcome back to the program.
Hello, hello. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
All right, doing really good. Glad to have you all with us. Just as a quick programming note for those who are tuning in on the Amazon Live side, if you guys are not doing so already, invite you guys to click below or up in this corner to be able to follow us here on Amazon Live. We have programming here 7 days a week, and as I said, we're going to be gearing up to be with you guys for pretty much all day on Cyber Monday with some great brands, some great deals. And one of the brands we're going to be talking about tomorrow is one that we're talking about this evening as a preview, and that is Panoxol. It is on sale right now at a really good price. We're going to talk more about that here in a bit, but for those who are just now tuning in that may be new to our panel, Dr. Ronnie, let's go to you. Talk to our audience a little bit about the work that you do and how you were introduced to Panoxol.
I'm excited to say for the last, I would say, it's been time flies. So I live on Martha's Vineyard. I am a naturopathic doctor. I am also a New York Times bestseller book writer, and I'm also a healer. And I run a healing retreat on Martha's Vineyard, and I travel around the country taking care of celebrities and politicians. Lately, I've been really excited about Panoxol because I've been actually giving it to everyone, kids, adults, elderly. Basically, we're excited about the fact that it has all natural ingredients in it, and it allows the body to increase blood flow. And when you say that, you get a whole lot of different other signs and symptoms that it improves, right? Like weight loss, and then you feel good, you have a better brain focus, it improves insulin sensitivity, it enhances your sexual function, it just makes you feel really good. And now the holidays is getting ready to start, and I find myself talking to everybody about it because what it's done for me, and I can't wait to hear Travis Barber talks about it, what it's done for me, it actually makes me feel less lighter, I sleep better, I have more energy during the day. I'm the kind of person that just get up and just start walking. Now I'm at the point where I don't stop walking. So that's what I do in Martha's Vineyard. And I'm getting ready to travel out of the country. And literally, the first thing I think about is my Panoxol. So I'm excited to introduce Travis, because I can't wait to hear about your results, because one of the things I do on Martha's Vineyard, I treat the 4 highs: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high sugar, and high weight. And when you take all of that into consideration, we're talking about over 84 million people in America. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal that many people that we have to think about with one of the 4 highs. And so you have high blood pressure. I'd love to hear your story.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to be here. I've had high blood pressure since I was 18 years old when I went into the Marine Corps. I don't have a single blood pressure reading that wasn't high. I've been taking meds probably since I was about 27, and they've done enough to keep me from having a stroke or having some serious medical complications, but I've never been able to really get my blood pressure under control. My blood pressure typically would range in the 171 over 101 area. And if I got a blood pressure reading of 150 anything over 90 anything, I was happy. I would consider myself lucky. And about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I met Willis down in Arizona, and he introduced me to the Panoxol, and I started taking it right away. I took it that same day, and I noticed I monitor my blood pressure. I take it at least 3 times a day, and I noticed right away that my blood pressure started going down. On the first day, my blood pressure went down to 136 over 89. And it has consistently stayed in that range since I've been taking Panoxol for almost 2 months now.
Wow.
My energy level is through the roof. My coworkers are losing me now. They're not accustomed to me having this much energy and moving around as fast. I just came home from a week vacation back home in Louisiana with my family. They're not accustomed. We have our own property down there, and our driveway is almost a quarter of a mile long, and it's nothing for most everybody. Just gets in a car and drive down the driveway. It's nothing for me to just jump up and walk down the driveway from one house to another on our property now. And everybody's like, "You're going to walk down to your mom's house?" Yeah, be fine. My energy level is through the roof. I feel great. I am sleeping much better to the point where I have to set up another sleep study to get rid of my CPAP machine, not to increase the pressure or anything like that. I feel like it's going to be to get rid of my CPAP machine.
Wow. I can't wait for you to tell me what your doctor is saying about all of this. This is just
I can't wait. One of the meds that I've been taking for my blood pressure, I ran out of. I never renewed it. I never started taking it again, but my blood pressure is still going down.
Unbelievable.
And the only thing that's changed is I've added Panoxol.
And you look great. Your skin color and everything. You just look, sometimes when people have high blood pressure, you can literally look at them and they just look tired. And because they feel tired actually, right? But when you're controlling your blood pressure, you can tell that you just have more oxygen, you just have more circulation. And when that happens, you have more brain focus and you just feel good and you actually look good. Great stories. Wonderful. Thank you.
No problem. Glad to be here. Grateful to share.
Travis,
it is fantastic.
Travis, we're going to come back to you for sure because I have some questions too, and I'm sure our audience may have some questions as well. I want to go ahead and bring in Dr. Matthew Michaels, if you would talk a bit about your work and also your introduction to Panoxol as well.
Sure. I'm an MD, allopathic doctor. I practice physical medicine and rehabilitation. I do primarily interventional pain work. Lately, mostly regenerative interventional work, using your body's own platelets and stem cells to heal your orthopedic problems. I was introduced to Panoxol about a little over a year ago, actually, in September of 2020. Keith Matthews, the co-inventor, contacted me through LinkedIn, and we got to talking, and he invited me to get involved. And I did. I'm very glad I did. At the time, for medical doctors, when I think about getting involved in anything new, I feel like, all right, I have to know everything about this product for me to get involved. And so that meant to my brain dissecting every ingredient, looking at what it does, how it does it, what is it there for, what is it actually accomplishing. Every ingredient in Panoxol you can find anywhere online, on Amazon or anywhere you want to go. All of them, arginine, citrulline, they're all available as individual products. Cayenne, red yeast rice, horse chestnut seed extract, and ginkgo biloba. You can get every one of them. And I think there's a lot of people out there listening to this who say, oh, I already take ginkgo, or I already take horse chestnut, or whatever, for whatever you've been told that it's good for. And in general, these are products that have been used for hundreds, if not 100 years, if not millennia, in the Asian cultures especially, for various reasons. Mostly circulatory. We know cayenne is sort of magical in terms of what it can do for metabolism, diabetes, and blood flow in general. Horse chestnut seed extract does the same kind of thing, promotes nitric oxide, and that's really what we're going after mostly. Nitric oxide is this kind of magical molecule that dilates blood vessels and improves blood flow and oxygenation to all of our tissues across the board. So that is something that you might want to take, and you might already be taking on your own, whether it be for diabetes control or for blood flow or for metabolism and weight loss. It's a great extract. It works great. A lot of people are getting more involved in just using more spices in their food because spices can be very healthy in the right quantities and the right reasons. And of course, red yeast rice is the source of lovastatin, which was the original statin drug to control cholesterol. We happen to believe that despite the fact that lovastatin as a pharmaceutical agent is more potent, it also has more side effects than the natural source of the product, which is monocolin D in red yeast rice. So again, we're back to this whole plant notion. And I'm sure a lot of you out there are using red yeast rice for your cholesterol today. But recognizing that when you look at each one of these ingredients and what it can do, and then think about how magical this combination of products is, so much so that it's patented. That it's patented in the United States, Canada, and the Philippines, and that is not something that can be said of very many botanical remedies or nutraceuticals out there. So in the long run, what we've seen with Mr. Bieber, with this almost magical reduction in blood pressure from plants, basically, is exactly what we see universally across the board. Now, I want to make it very clear that we are not making any claims about this product that is not designed to treat, cure, or prevent any disease. We're talking about personal experience, recognizing the limitations of talking about personal experience in terms of, will it work for the next person? We can't tell you what the odds are. Well, what we can tell you is that people we know who have been using the product simply keep using it. Because if they go off for whatever reason, they run out, they want to buy more, they immediately see their blood pressure start to rise again over time. And then this notion of energy, Travis, you had mentioned that you feel more energetic. That is one of the things that you don't really expect from just looking at these ingredients, that, oh, everybody's going to have more energy. But almost universally, I myself saw that magically when I started taking it. And it wasn't like I felt high or buzzed or anything like that. I would just get home from work when I would normally want to sit down and relax and maybe have a beer and have dinner and just watch TV until I went to bed. Now I feel like, let's go for a walk. Let's go take the dogs out. Let's go do something. Or even doing chores at night, like reorganizing the garage when I should be going to bed. I just find myself doing that. And it's not, this kind of manic feeling, I got to get stuff done. I just feel like, hey, I feel pretty good. I don't want to sit around. I want to do more. And what, Travis, you're also going to see with this, as you do that kind of thing, you're moving more and doing more, other orthopedic things will begin to feel better as well. Your feet will feel better. Your knees will feel better. Your hips, your back, your neck, just from being active and moving. And so we see Panoxol as sort of an entry point for health improvement, so that over time, our real goal is not just to use Panoxol as a product to sell and make lives better, but to then also add in coaching and education and knowledge and understanding about what can it actually do for you. Travis, I think you were to some degree lucky that you entered the military and you had your blood pressure measured at a very young age and you knew you were hypertensive. Sadly, there are tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands or millions of people out there who have high blood pressure as high as yours right now and have no idea. And so one of our primary goals is to get a blood pressure cuff into the hands of every single American and have people checking their blood pressure regularly so they know what their numbers are, and that the goal is to get down to 110/70. We'd like to see that for you as well, Travis. And I think that's going to be within reach. If and when your blood pressure stops just continuing to decline with the Panoxol alone, you might want to add back in one of your pharmaceuticals just to get down to that level. And once it's there, where we know you're healthy, you're safe, you're not doing any more damage to your kidneys or your brain or your heart, then potentially wean the pharmaceutical off, because we believe that Panoxol is going to have more of a benefit as time goes by. As your body reacts to it, we get that epigenetic effect of changing the way our bodies are managing circulation and blood pressure, that the effect is going to just improve as you take it over time. I've seen that with myself as well.
That's right.
So I think I've spoken enough for now, and let's take it back to Dr. Ronnie and Travis.
Well, actually, Dr. Michaels, I want to stay with you for a second because you brought up something that we got questions about. I had asked you a question the last time you were on. Hard to believe that was a month ago. But you just raised it again, that I will be bringing back in Dr. Ronnie because I think this is an interesting conversation to have. I've been taking now Panoxol for a while, and you mentioned two things, and I had even shared on last month. I did notice also the difference in energy as well. But and I think but one of the things that you and I talked about, Dr. Michaels, and I want to bring Dr. Runny in too, is about checking your blood pressure regularly. I asked you about that because it's not something that I did, on a daily basis. I had other people who responded to that same show and said, "Hey, I don't own a blood pressure. I don't check my, the regular basis either." Is that something you're hearing more of, Dr. Michaels, that people, unless they're going to the doctor or, checking something in the supermarket, or they're going to a pharmacy, that they're not checking their blood pressure regularly?
In all honesty, they call high blood pressure the silent killer for a reason. It's silent because there are no symptoms, right? That you do, and no matter what you think, if you think, I don't have a headache, I can't have high blood pressure, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have, you do not know, period. You will have no clue. I have seen more patients than I can count in my career as a rehab doctor, doing inpatient rehab as well, seeing patients after strokes and heart attacks, et cetera, who are trying to recover in an inpatient environment, who had no clue that they had blood pressure. I just saw a month ago a 35-year-old guy who had a brain hemorrhage because his blood pressure was 160 over 110, and it just had been parked there. He went to the doctor, had it checked, did not take it seriously, he actually knew it was high at that point, did not take his medication, and had a hemorrhage. Now he's 35 years old and he's paralyzed on one side of his body. Wow. I've seen patients all the time who have kidney failure, who are on dialysis because their first symptom was, I feel tired, really, really tired, I can't do anything, so something's really wrong, and they go to the doctor, and the doctor has to say, I'm sorry, but the horse is out of the barn, your kidneys have failed, you need dialysis. We can't reverse this anymore. And so we want people to check their blood pressure now so that they know they're drifting higher or they are too high, but they don't yet have irreversible damage, or at least damage that can be stopped where it is right now. Myself is an example of that. I took a medication back 20 years ago for a fungal infection that damaged my kidneys. I have what you would call chronic renal failure with a high creatinine, but it has been stable for 22 years. No change. It has not gone up at all. So I don't really have the classic chronic kidney disease, which is usually because of high blood pressure, and then diabetes contributes as well. But ultimately, chronic renal disease usually means that not only is your creatinine high, so your kidneys are not filtering properly, but they're getting worse over time. And they're getting worse because your blood pressure is not controlled. So about 2013, a study was done. We all know the number 120 over 80, right? We all were taught that's the number that you want to be at. But this study showed that some guys wanted to decide, is lower better? So they studied tens of thousands of people. It was a huge study. And after just 3 years of what was meant to be a 20-year study, the difference was so dramatic in terms of less chronic disease with 110 over 70 compared to 120 over 80 that they stopped the study right away because it wasn't fair to the people who were being controlled at 120 over 80. They had to bring them down to 110 over 70, but then they couldn't do the study anymore. So that is the new standard that we need to achieve, is 110 over 70. We also know that it's not just about heart attacks and strokes and kidney disease, but also things like dementia seem to be more prevalent when you have chronic hypertension. The little micro damage that blood pressure is doing to your brain, because again, you have to think it's like if you turn on a hose and the hose is just coming out the end, the water's coming out the end with no nozzle on it, it just pours out beautifully, free flowing. But if you put a nozzle on there and open it up, you get this fine spray. That same fine spray is what's happening in your brain, your heart, and your kidneys. And that fine spray can be at such high pressure that it literally damages the cells, kills them in some cases, or bursts a blood vessel and you have a bleed like that guy I told you about did. So ultimately, again, 110 over 70 is the number. And as far as we're concerned, you will have no idea what your blood pressure is unless you measure it. Blood pressure cuffs are cheap, automatic ones. You $25, $30, buy one anywhere, Amazon, wherever you want to get it, just have one in the house. You can pull it up your arm, learn how to take it, sit down, relax, have your arm at heart level, and press a button, and you'll know your number. Some of you will do this tonight and be absolutely shocked at how high your blood pressure is, thinking, I feel fine, but you're not. So please know your numbers, check your blood pressure regularly, get it under control with or without Panoxol. Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, I just want people to know and control things. If you use Panoxol, great, you're going to get a lot more benefits than just blood pressure control. That's critical to know. Ginkgo improves brain circulation by lowering blood viscosity. Horse chestnut seed extract can improve peripheral circulation. And if any of you have noticed that your skin in your legs is kind of getting discolored, turning brownish, and your ankles are swelling, that's called chronic venous stasis. And apparently horse chestnut can impact that very significantly by improving blood flow in the veins, so the blood can escape your legs and get back up into your heart without leaking out and causing the swelling and the discoloration. And of course, cayenne can control blood sugar and metabolism, helping with weight loss, etc. And then, of course, red yeast rice helps with cholesterol levels, inflammation, and also promotes nitric oxide. Every one of these ingredients promotes nitric oxide. Arginine and citrulline are the ones that you generally buy as a nitric oxide supplement. They might be the least important of our ingredients.
Right.
Now, I got very worried there again.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Dr. Michael. And Dr. Rudd, I'm going to continue this conversation with you because in your interview that you were having with Travis there, one of the things, of course, he talked about was his blood pressure. Are you also seeing that, Dr. Rudd, in your work, that people are not as aware, for one, what their blood pressure is, but also how something like Panoxol can help them with it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. You have to remember that when people eat processed food all day and then they work a 9 to 10-hour job and then they come home and they're tired, the first thing they want to do is put their feet up and eat more food, because what you do, you continue to do that. And a lot of times what happens, by the time they go to the doctor, their blood pressure is so high and they're like in a state of shock, like, I had no idea. I had a little headache every now and then, but I didn't realize that it was my blood pressure. And the other thing that exacerbates the blood pressure, you will find that a lot of them also have the high cholesterol at the same time, and they're also obese. So with all of that going on, you'll find that they end up with, like Dr. Michael said, with kidney failure or kidney disease at some level. So it is a vicious circle, but it all starts with their lifestyle. And I think what we're trying to do now, I had like about 30 people online the other night, and I'm teaching them how to do their blood pressure at home. So remote care is becoming a huge type of care that doctors are now doing, like with CareClicks. We have to do that because I'm teaching them how to take their blood pressure. In fact, I had one lady to come into my center this morning actually. Her blood pressure was like borderline low. Her blood sugar was borderline low. What do you think happened? She got on a program. It was a comprehensive program. She did very, very well. She's taking her blood pressure 2 to 3 times a day, just like Dr. Michael said. So education is everything, and community. So once you get people involved in their care and give them really simple protocols, and they're really on board with this, I've nothing more than miracles with this product. I've literally, and I talked to you not about a month ago, I guess, about the young boy that I had, the teenager that I had that lost over 60 something pounds. I mean, he's now up to losing 70 something pounds. He's still walking every day. He's excited. And his mother and dad was the one that told me, good luck. He's never going to walk. He won't even walk the dog. Now we can't find him. He gets lost in the community. We have to go look for him. Why is that? The reason that is that he has more oxygen in his body. He has more oxygen to his brain. It increases your metabolism. You lose weight. And the miracle about all of this is that the formula is so well put together. Like, I've tried cayenne pepper. It didn't do anything. I've tried some of these individual supplements on its own, like one-on-one. I remember trying ginkgo. As a naturopath, we try it all, right? But we try like one thing here, one thing there. But when you put these nutrients together, I mean, it's nothing more than miraculous. It has done so much in my center, just based on weight loss, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high sugar, all of it. And I think that, when you can take this child, he's a child that was over 140 pounds overweight. I mean, it's painful for me to even say that, because you're probably sitting there thinking, how could that happen? Well, guys, it's happening all over the country.
Hmm.
Dr. Rodney, I'm going to talk to Travis a bit too, but I want to ask you about a couple of things because another question we got from our last conversation, because, and I can understand this because, and we discussed it on here with Dr. Michaels and you about the amount of Panoxol to take. So I'm curious as to how much Travis is taking, but what do you normally tell people? I know for myself, and I shared with you all, and I'm still doing it the way that I started off, just because of my, try to figure out my system. I do basically two a day is what I'm doing. One in the morning, and I'm doing one in the afternoon. What do you normally tell people about how many to take and how often to take, Dr. Ronnie? How do you normally base that for your patients?
I say start slow, start with one, see how you feel. And then
Hmm.
I say, then go up to two. And, we also do a weaning schedule on medications. We don't just, put them on Panoxol. We educate them, and we also do a weaning schedule with their regular medications. We consult with their doctor. We have a community, their family helps. So yeah, you start slow, one, then you go up to two. I'm up to three a day. So
Okay.
it depends on who you are and why you're taking it.
Got you. Got you. Travis, what about for you? I mean, in your journey, I think you said it's been now 2 months, correct?
Hmm.
With you taking Panoxol, how many are you taking a day right now?
I'm taking a total of 4 a day. I take two in the mornings and two in the evenings,
Okay.
and that's pretty much it.
Okay. And for you, I mean, when you first heard about Panoxol, Travis, did you think it was something, considering where you were, did you think it's something that it was something initially that would help you?
I was hopeful.
Mhm.
I didn't know a lot about it. When I met Willis, he gave me what I thought would have been, the normal. Hey, here's a new pill to take kind of spill, and because it's a supplement, I didn't really worry so much about it. It's not the first time that I've taken a supplement or someone's told me about something that could help me in some way, shape, or form. So I wasn't afraid of it or anything like that. I was kind of hopeful. I did not expect the results that I got. I did not expect to see my blood pressure go down in the same day.
Mm. Wow. So you saw the response pretty quickly then in your case.
Yes, and I waited probably about a week before I started talking to Willis about, hey, this stuff really is working, because one day maybe I was just relaxed that day, or maybe things weren't as stressful. So I gave it a week before I realized, I got back from vacation and life went back to normal. I was under my normal stress. My blood pressure should have gone back to what it normally is, but it did not. And the only thing that changed was I was taking Panoxol.
Got you. Got you. Appreciate that. I want to say for those who are just tuning in on Amazon Live, you are watching Cyrus Represents. We're excited to welcome back our trusted professionals discussing the benefits of this product you guys see there, Panoxol. We have it highlighted in the carousel there on Amazon Live. You all can see it below. Also, again, if you're not following us already, make sure you guys do that. If you guys are joining us on any other platform, you'll see the link for Amazon there with this particular broadcast. You can be able to click over to be able to get Panoxol here on Amazon. It's actually on a Black Friday deal right now, 40% off. I was sharing with our guest earlier. I've already ordered another bottle because it's such a great price. Also, I just noticed I got a message. If you guys go over there to Panoxol page, they will actually see us there too. We actually are trending on the Panoxol page right now, live as well, so they can actually watch us over there too. But we have a question that came in on the Amazon Live side. Dr. Ronnie, I want to ask you this, and then Dr. Michael, feel free to chime in as well. Will
Sure.
Panoxol lower someone's blood pressure if it is already too low?
That is a very good question, and I think that it is more of a synergy of keeping it stable. I have not seen that. I don't know about Dr. Michaels. I believe that my blood pressure is low normal, because my blood pressure is normally like 110 over 78, sometimes 70. I have not seen that to happen at all. I don't know if someone had 100 over 50, if that would be the case. Dr. Michaels might be able to answer that, but I just know for
Sure.
me, it increased my energy and it literally became a metabolism booster for me. So, Dr. Michaels, do you have anything to
I
add?
do. Yes, we have a study back from roughly, I think it was 2013, of roughly about 100 people at a facility for retired folks that we tested the product in various groups and people who were level 2 hypertensive, level 1, and normotensive. And what we saw over the course of 3 months is that the people who had the highest blood pressure saw the biggest drop. The people who saw the lowest blood pressure had the lowest drop. Basically statistically insignificant. Now, it's a small study, so we can't really get too deeply into statistics. But in general, from our experience, no. If your blood pressure is already normal or low, it is probably not going to drop further with Panoxol. And so, but this is also a reason to be cautious, right? If you're elderly, if you're over 70 and you have some significant vascular compromise, we don't want your blood pressure to drop too much. So again, start with one pill. Measure your blood pressure regularly. See how you're responding. If you're trying to get the other benefits of Panoxol because your blood pressure is already normal or on the low side, that's great because, again, there are a host of other benefits that come along with this product. But start low and go slow. Measure your blood pressure regularly. If you happen to be one person whose blood pressure goes from 110/70 to 90/60 or 90/50, and you feel symptoms, or you're elderly and you're at risk for stroke, be very careful. If you're younger, if you're healthy otherwise, what we're seeing today is that in general, the lower the blood pressure is when you feel asymptomatic, where you don't feel dizzy when you get up and you feel just fine at 90/50. If that's the case, you're just fine. Don't worry about it. Blood pressure, we don't want to see drop suddenly. I'll tell a little story about that. Back in medical school, back in the 1980s and 90s, all of us were taught to give people with a hypertensive crisis a rapid dose of medication to bring it down rapidly because we were in fear of their hypertension causing disease immediately. Over time, there were people who had complications of that. Even if their blood pressure was 200/120, if we dropped it down too fast, things would happen like a stroke or a heart attack. When the sudden loss of blood pressure drops perfusion, and bad things happen. So we want all of this to be gradual. We don't want rapid drops in blood pressure. We want gradual drops in blood pressure so your body can adapt and learn how to deal with that lower blood pressure and learn how to experience the benefits of that. That's where I would go with it.
Dr. Michaels, I want to ask you the same question I asked Dr. Ronnie, because again, the conversation we had last month was so good. And of course, that whole question about how many, because you and I were talking about that as well. What do you normally tell individuals that you are introducing to Panoxol about where to start as far as how many to take per day?
So we talk about two different effects of Panoxol. One is an immediate effect, the nitric oxide, how that's going to impact your blood pressure right now. So within an hour after taking your first dose of Panoxol, the vast majority of people will notice a significant drop. But that will then begin to climb back up again over the next few hours. So we're looking at a window of maybe 4 to 6 hours, maybe 8 hours that the Panoxol and nitric oxide immediate effect is active. So in that regard, if you're that effect specifically 3 times a day is where we are right now. It might even be 4 times a day, and to take it properly and have your blood pressure consistently controlled by the nitric oxide effect. But in the long run, over time, twice a day is probably fine. I take mine twice a day. I'm at 3. I take 2 in the morning and 1 in the evening, because in terms of getting that coverage across 24 hours, of course, we're all awake for maybe 16 hours and sleep for maybe 8 hours, roughly, hopefully. So in the morning, I take the 2 because it's theoretically going to give me a longer duration of control. But ultimately, we are developing a long-acting form of Panoxol, which will be out in the future. That should give us that more 24-hour control with the twice-a-day dosing. That's going to be our objective. But for now, I would suggest 3 times a day is probably the right number. And so again, not right away. Start off with 1 in the morning. Get a feeling for what it's doing to you. Then add 1 in the evening. Get a feeling for what that's doing to you over the course of weeks. Again, we're not looking to control your blood pressure instantaneously right now. That's really not the goal. It's a long-term, lifetime thing. Just like fitness is a journey without a destination, right? That's what we're looking for. When you're trying to get fit, there's no there's never a point where you're fit enough to stop exercising. Same with blood pressure control and health in general. It's a journey, and the journey has no destination. The journey is the destination. As long as you're getting on the train and you're heading in the right direction, you're going to be doing the right things. And again, don't just take Panoxol. Exercise, eat properly, read Dr. Ronnie's book, really understand how what you eat is going to be your future. It's a huge issue.
I want to say I'm going to keep you up here, Dr. Michaels, because I want to acknowledge those who are joining us over there on YouTube. I see you, also those on Twitter and on Facebook. So we have another question here, Dr. Michaels. It's based on something you said, and this is an interesting question, and I think it's a great conversation. And then, Dr. Ronnie, I'll bring you back in. You mentioned about because I think for all of us who don't live in the world where you all know so much about the body and what works against it and for it. I think this is interesting and great for our audience to be able to hear. So, can you talk more? The question is, Dr. Michaels, about what you mentioned about kidney failure. I think some people were surprised, even as you were talking about the correlation between blood pressure and and kidney failure. Talk to us about that and what our audience needs to know about the benefits of Panoxol
Absolutely.
when it comes to that.
So yeah, this is not controversial. It's not something that I'm coming up with. It's been well known for decades that high blood pressure causes kidney damage. It just does, period. And the higher your blood pressure, the more likely it is to cause damage soon. Travis, with the blood pressure that you were mentioning, you're very fortunate to have gotten to your age without kidney damage. So again, I see people regularly who are in their 30s and 40s on dialysis because of uncontrolled blood pressure. It is just simply something that you have to know and understand that the kidneys sitting right about here have their own arteries coming off the aorta very close to the heart. So the blood pressure hits them hard, and it's meant to because your kidneys are the filter of your system. Blood runs through the renal arteries into the kidneys, then it's filtered. You filter out the poisons and the toxins, and when the serum comes out the other side of the nephron, which is the active unit of the kidney, it has been filtered properly. All the toxins are gone. The blood urea nitrogen is gone. Various hormones and toxins have been filtered out and they go into your urine. So that process, though, is very elaborate and it has to have free flowing blood going into the kidney to allow it to happen. So the kidneys are uniquely vulnerable to that particular type of damage because of their filtering effect. And so it's important for you just to simply recognize and understand there is no question this isn't something we're making up to get your attention. High blood pressure destroys kidneys. Get a blood pressure cuff, measure your blood pressure regularly, know your numbers, control it. 110/70 is the goal.
Dr. Ronnie, are you finding that people are surprised by that too? I'm glad that they bring that up because when Dr. Michael said it, I thought, you know what, and again, I was my grandmother's primary caregiver before she died, and she did have issues with blood pressure. She did ending up on dialysis even at the age of 80, and stayed on dialysis for 9 years before she died. Are you finding that people are surprised about the correlation between high blood pressure and kidney failure?
Yes, absolutely. And that's why education is so important. I find that even when I talk about kidney disease in terms of its stages, I'm just shocked that, there's 4 stages. And I'm shocked that by the time they do find out that they have chronic kidney disease, it's stage 3. And you got to wonder, and that's what we were talking about, how it's silent. A lot of these chronic illnesses are silent killers. I mean, literally, by the time you get to stage 3, you should be seeing symptoms, and you are. You're seeing the edema on the legs, fatigue. You're seeing a lot of fatigue. You see appetite loss. I mean, there are signs that people are having, but they're just not conscious. The education's not there, and that's why webinars and just remote care has to be bigger than ever before, because we have to get to people before they get to this stage. The other thing is that when you go to the doctors and they test your creatinine and your BUN and your GFR, they have to educate you on what that is. So now what I'm doing at the clinic is I'll do what's called chem strips. It's like a multi-stick, and we'll dip it in the urine, and I'll just dip it. And if I see protein on the multi-sticks, I'm going to educate them, and I'm going to say, see, this is what I saw. You need to go to your primary care physician, and you need to get blood work. You need to get a kidney function test, because you have to remember, people that have hypertension, they're not aware that the small vessels in the around the kidney and the body's being damaged, because you can't see that. And when you don't see something, you're not conscious about it. So it's truly the primary care doctor needs to educate, and then follow up is everything. So I'm starting to teach people how to do their blood pressure at home. do multi-stick testing at home. I mean, it's literally health starts in the home today. I mean, your primary care doctor can only do so much. You have to be conscious and start taking care of yourself at home.
Yeah. Travis, I want to bring you back in the conversation to this point because as someone who's using Panoxol,
Mhm.
and I think, our audience will appreciate being able to hear this from you. I mean, what has it been like for you to kind of take some control at home? It's great that you were able to, to have that relationship with your doctor, but what has it been like for you to be able to now do what you're doing at home to be able to also help with your health?
It's wonderful. I think I prefer having the control and being able to do it myself at home. I don't want to have to go to a doctor and wait for them to tell me that something is wrong before I do something about it. I think education is the key. Learn about your body, learn about the things that can go wrong, whether it's something from genetics or whether it's something over the course of life or whatever that develops. I think being able to take control and work on it at home on my own and educating myself about this has been key. The more I learn about it, the more I want to do something about it, and the easier it is to implement something like Panoxol or anything else for that matter to help me get healthier.
Yeah.
That's
That is a big thing.
fantastic. If I may mention,
Yeah, sure.
Charis, Dr. Ronnie mentioned something about eventually, as your kidneys fail, you experience symptoms, and so fatigue. You're literally being poisoned by kidney failure because you're not
Yeah.
filtering the poisons that are developing out of your system to begin with. And so it's important to recognize that what Dr. Ronnie said was not a symptom of hypertension. It's a symptom of kidney disease. Kidney disease is a symptom of hypertension. Strokes are a symptom of hypertension. Heart attacks are a symptom of hypertension. So when you actually feel those things like you're paralyzed on one side because you had a stroke, you could say that's a symptom of hypertension. We don't want to get there. When you say, oh, I'm fatigued and tired because I'm having kidney failure, well, we want to get this under control way before that. And there's only one way to do it. You have to measure your blood pressure.
Right.
And that goes back to the connection here with Penoxone. Again, I want to remind people Penoxol is on sale right now on Amazon.com. 40% off, $53.80 is where you all can get a bottle now. So definitely invite you guys to take advantage of this. Again, as I'm gearing up for our Cyber Monday coverage here for Amazon Live, it's great that this deal is already on, so you guys can go ahead and get a jump start. I noticed when I bought my bottle a few days ago, I mean, it arrived if you're a Prime member within a few days. So you can go ahead and be able to start. It's a great way to be able to start the new month. Dr. Michaels, I want to stay with you and then bring back in Dr. Ronnie because this time of year, people are starting to think more about their health leading into a new year, and making changes. What do you normally tell people about the importance of that starting today and not waiting on a new year to start thinking about their health and how they can live better?
Well, I think that it's very important to recognize that all of these things should be viewed as lifestyle changes. For one thing, I strongly recommend that people never go on a diet. Okay, because if you go on a diet, you can go off that diet. Your diet isn't something temporary. Your diet is what you eat every day for the rest of your life. Now, if you are overweight and you want to lose weight, you need to recognize that a healthy diet is a healthy diet, whether you're trying to lose weight or maintain weight. Doesn't matter, right? So read Dr. Ronnie's book, understand better the power of vegetables and the power of what you eat in your life. Critically important to understand that so that you are in a place where you realize that this is not about today or tomorrow or the next day. Learning how to eat properly is going to be a lifelong habit that once you have lost, let's say 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, or like in the case of the child that you're talking about, Dr. Ronnie, 140 pounds. Once you've lost that weight, modern society makes it very hard just to not gain weight. Every day we're surrounded by low quality, high calorie food. And it's so easy just to reach out and grab a bag of chips or a cookie or something that's prepackaged and something that's going to taste delicious because it's designed to be addictive. So that kind of thing is easy. You need to learn to plan your meals. Go to the grocery store, buy a grocery cart full of frozen vegetables, recognizing that, yes, fresh is the best, but fresh doesn't last long. If you don't eat it right away, it's degrading in your fridge. Frozen vegetables are frozen at the peak of their nutritional value, and it pretty much locks it in at that point. Plus, once it's in the freezer in your house, you could eat it 2 months later and it will still be at the same level of nutrition. The beauty of frozen vegetables is that they're always there in your freezer. When you're hungry, you can take out a bag of broccoli, put it in a bowl, put some water and whatever spices you want to put in with it, maybe some olive oil, put it in the microwave, heat it up, and 3 minutes later, it's a meal. Makes it easy. Have stuff in your house that you know is healthy to eat. Recognizing that the more you eat vegetables, the more you're going to enjoy vegetables, the more you're going to learn that you have to cook them properly. That you might cook the broccoli for a little while in the microwave and then put it in the oven to roast it with some garlic and olive oil, etc. There are ways that vegetables are awesome. They taste fantastic if you learn how to cook. And cooking is, in my opinion, the sweet science as opposed to boxing. Cooking is amazing. It engages you with your food, and your food is your health. Your food is your life. You got to become engaged with it. Don't buy prepackaged foods that are lazy and easy and low quality, high calorie. It's ridiculous. We have to break that habit, but it's hard to do. And planning ahead is a critical part of that. I don't even know if I answered your question. I got off on a tangent.
No, you did. You definitely did. Dr. Ron, I want to bring you into something that Dr. Michaels mentioned, because I think, again, this is an important thing. We have not talked about it a whole lot in this conversation because we've had so much other great information. But Panoxol is wonderful. And even like I said, in taking the time I've taken it now for the past couple months, I can definitely tell a difference in, and I'm not saying this works for everyone, but I've noticed definitely it works for me as an appetite suppressant. I've noticed I get full quicker, but also I definitely have noticed that extra energy. But that is just one part of it. As Dr. Michaels was saying, there is a component of, what you're eating, and taking care of yourself. How much has that part of the conversation been for you and your patients?
Well, I think, everyone that comes to the center, the first thing they get introduced to is medical nutrition. And saying that, because this time of the year, the sales in the book goes up, the phone calls go up, the emails go up, because every single year around this time, we start thinking about how we're going to lose the weight even before we gain it. So, the country, we're all going to gain a lot of weight, and then we're going to want to lose it all in one day starting January 1st. So the first thing I start telling people is you always have to give yourself maximum nutrition in small dosages all day long in order to get the right minerals and vitamins that your body needs to stay healthy. First thing you have to do, especially with high blood pressure, decrease the salt. With high sugar, decrease the sugar, decrease the processed food. Like my grandmother would say, don't open up a can or a bag or a bottle, go fresh. And the hardest thing for people to do, but this is an absolute must, you have to learn how to juice, because 2 plates of vegetables will end up being a glass of juice. No one's eating 2 plates of vegetables. I love vegetables, but I'm not eating that much. But if I can take all those vegetables and put it in a juicer and get just an 8-ounce glass of juice, can you imagine the amount of minerals and vitamins and phytonutrients in that one glass? So if you just learn to do that one thing, guaranteed you're going to have a maximum amount of success with getting your pressure down, getting your sugar down, increasing your circulation along with the Panoxol. So the Panoxol is an added thing to your overall longevity and health. It's not the only thing. I mean, I had someone taking 4 garlic pills, Travis, along with the Panoxol to manage their blood pressure. But also both of those things I consider an immune booster as well. So, we said earlier, Panoxol has many, many benefits. We're talking about blood pressure today, but I can tell you that it has done wonders in the area of just being able to exercise. I mean, we call it couch potatoes, but you got to ask yourself, why do we call them couch potatoes? It's not their fault. They had no energy, no circulation. That's why they sit on the couch. So,
I completely agree, Dr. Ronnie, and I would love to talk a little bit more about the impact of this product on nitric oxide and exercise in general, for the same reason that we've all been discussing. You simply have more energy and you want to do more when you're taking this product. For that same reason of blood flow and nitric oxide induction, I also know that for myself and for every athlete I know who's taking the product, there's also a very significant nitric oxide effect on your workouts. If you're already fit and in shape and you want to use nitric oxide as an ergogenic aid while you're working out, it absolutely does work. For me, the best way for me to measure that result is I bike indoors on a platform called Zwift. It's a virtual reality thing, but every parameter is measured: my power output, my circulation, my blood flow, etc., or my pulse. I know exactly how I was performing before I took Panoxol and after. And there was a very significant bump just by taking the Panoxol before the workout and again afterwards to promote recovery, which blood flow also promotes. When you increase blood flow, you improve healing and recovery from your workouts. So I personally believe that this is going to be a powerful product for the average everyday athlete as well, to not only have a better workout, but to want to work out more. I absolutely noticed that when I first get up in the morning, if it's a weekend day and I know I'm going to get a workout in, when I first get up, on some days I may not be there. And we all know that some days are great, some days aren't. Some days you just don't, you're not feeling it, and you're feeling like, yeah, I'll skip my workout today. But then I usually have a smoothie in the morning with a couple of Panoxol in it. And I notice amazingly that I finished the smoothie and I'm like, all right, it's time to go work out. There's no question, I'm just going. So that is an effect that I've noticed with Panoxol that was not there without it. And again, please understand, we're not trying to tell you that this absolutely will work for you. We're talking about personal experience and not promoting this or as a product that is designed to treat, cure, or prevent any disease. We're trying to help people get to a better place, and we believe this product can be a very powerful part of that for the athlete and just for the person who's struggling with health in general.
Such a great point. Dr. Michaels, I want to ask you this question. Dr. Ronnie, the same thing as we're coming to the close here. You know, I think it goes to another point here that is so important too, and I appreciate the information you all are sharing. I know we'll get more questions for next month, which is always great, because I think that's the thing. Is like, that's why these sessions that we're doing are so great. Yes, we're talking about Panoxone, the benefits and the discounts that's going on right now on Amazon, but also the fact that this is to help people to be healthier individuals. I want to talk about that for yourself, Dr. Michaels. What has that been like for you to introduce a product like this that has the potential to be able to help people where they are?
It's a powerful thing for me as a physician to have this kind of product that I know can be beneficial for pretty much anybody. It's an uphill battle, of course, because the vast majority of people in the United States, which is where we are primarily, are very locked into the allopathic model of medicine. And for whatever reason, whether it be because of the philosophy of allopathy or because people just in general don't really buy into taking care of themselves. They pretty much want to just live their lives until things go to hell in a handbag, and they feel like now something has to be done. Unfortunately, that model of medicine is not the best one. It's what we call the disease model, where you just live your life the way you want to until you're sick and you need something to fix what's going on. That's where pharmaceutical drugs come in, because they're purified, they're very potent, but loaded with side effects. But there's a reason why they're there. And so we want to help people understand that there's a better way to manage your health. Don't wait for something to happen. Do everything you can do now while you can do it to promote better health. Eat properly. Read Dr. Ronnie's book. Exercise consistently. And an important message that I want to deliver there is, you do not have to be the crazy person who loves a burn during a workout, who loves to push hard and pant and sweat and suffer through a workout. There are people who are like that. For some people, it's a good thing. For some people, they overdo it and they hurt themselves. When you're thinking about exercise, don't even think about the word exercise. Think about challenging activity. It's important to recognize that we are all adapting to what we're doing right now, which for everybody except, I think, Travis, it looks like he's standing.
I'm actually sitting.
Okay, so we're all sitting. And while you're sitting, which is what you're going to do most of the day, regardless of how hard you try, your body is passive and it is adapting to being passive. It is adapting to sitting. Everything, from your heart to your pancreas to your liver, everything is adapting to sitting. Your insulin-related growth factor is going up. Your insulin levels are spiking. Your hips are getting tighter. Your back is getting tighter. Everything is adapting to sitting. When you get up and exercise, all you want to do is do something that's fun enough that you keep doing it, so that on average, your overall level of activity goes up and your body can adapt to that higher level of activity. Now, if you pick something to do, walking at a pace that is within your comfort zone, that's not enough. Walking is great, but it has to be at a pace or in an area with hills where it's at least a little bit challenging outside of your comfort zone. So just step one step out of your comfort zone, find something challenging but fun, because if it isn't fun, you won't keep doing it. Keep doing stuff that's enjoyable and pleasant and make it a part of your life. Because again, think, you're always adapting. And since we're mostly passive, we're adapting to being passive, which is why we get old in a hurry. When you can change that, not necessarily with intense workouts, but with consistent, patient workouts that are just simply challenging, that's all you need to do. The whole no pain, no gain paradigm, throw it out. It's not going to help you. It's going to cause problems, and it's going to prevent you from working out.
Love that. Thank you for that, Dr. Michaels. Dr. Ryan, I want to bring you in with a question. One of the things I did before I started taking, but also again, like I said, because I know for me, I can be a big baby and I have a very low tolerance for things. I started small, but I was trying to find out as much as I could about the different ingredients. Candace on Facebook asked a good question. And I think the horse chestnut can help with this, Dr. Ronnie, but I want to ask you. Candace has there been any recorded responses slowing or stopping inflammation?
Oh, wonderful. Absolutely great question. Yes, it has decreased inflammation in a lot of my clients and also myself. So, I have to tell you, I contribute Panoxol not only to decreasing inflammation, but it helps you to be happier. I mean, literally, the oxygen that gets to your system just makes you feel motivated and happier. And that's part of the reason why can exercise or walk more. I started the program, the Walk and Talk with Dr. Ronnie. I found out that I didn't need to walk with anybody. I just need to have my cell phone and walk. And literally, I would get lost with walking and talking. And I've never done that before. I would always stop and turn around and go back. But now I just keep walking. So I believe and I contribute that to decreasing inflammation in my body. So that's a good question. Yes.
Dr. Ronnie, Dr. Michaels, Travis, so glad you all could be with us for another great hour here. And, we've become like family. I mean, this time goes by so fast. And I'm so excited that we can share this information with our audience. And Travis, so glad we could share your story. We definitely want to have you back. Again, I want to remind people, we've been highlighting Panoxol here today. It again is 40% off right now. If you guys are not joining us on Amazon, the link to Amazon is actually with this broadcast, whatever platform you're joining us on. Invite you guys to click that link. Right now it's on sale as we're going into Cyber Monday for 40% off. You can get you a bottle for $52.80. Definitely a great value. As you can see, I have mine here. I've already ordered me another one because of the deal myself to make sure I have it because it is such a great price. And I started seeing results after my first week. And like I said, for myself, personally, the things that I noticed, I had mentioned to Dr. Michaels at first. I noticed, for one thing, more urination was one of the things that happened initially. But I also noticed it as an appetite suppressant for myself. I definitely got full quicker, and also I did notice a difference in energy as well. And with my schedule, that is always a good thing. So I definitely invite you guys, again, click below in the carousel there on Amazon to get your bottle of Panoxol Plus. Again, 40% off for $52.80. It's a really great value. And Dr. Ronnie, I want to bring you back here because Dr. Michaels, he referenced it several times. We're going to have him talk about his book as well. But your book is also there in the carousel on Amazon, 21 pounds in 21 days. So definitely want to make sure that you guys get your copy of Dr. Ronnie's book there. You'll notice it in the carousel as well. Dr. Ronnie, where can they stay connected with you?
Go to my website, my name, drronniedeluz.com.
And for you, Dr. Michaels, you have your book on Amazon as well. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it there in the carousel there. Take control of your back pain. I want to invite our audience to click below. You guys can order Dr. Michaels' book. And how can they stay connected with you, Dr. Michaels?
I'm only on LinkedIn at this time. It's Matthew Michaels, MD. I'm easy to find there. You can connect with me there. I'll be happy to hear from you. My book, as we've been discussing about education and knowledge and understanding, is all about helping people demystify back pain. Back pain is such a huge problem for so many people, and most people tell me, I tell myself I've had back pain since I was 12 years old. I have no memories without back pain. But despite having a very severely degenerated L5 disc, a spondylolisthesis or slipping of the bones, I've been able to do extreme skiing in Colorado and complete multiple Ironman triathlons with a back that I was told I needed surgery for. The point is to help people better understand how your posture and the way you move, your movement patterns can make a dramatic difference in how much you suffer with back pain. basically taking it from a life-altering experience to just a nuisance.
I appreciate that, Dr. Michael. Glad to have you back on. And Travis, where can our audience, how can they stay connected with you and your journey?
I am on LinkedIn, and you can email me directly at travisbaber@gmail.com, and follow my journey. Happy to advocate or be an ambassador for Panoxol or just life and health in general. I just think that people should own their health, own what happens to their body, and not just allow life to cause our bodies to deteriorate. I think the same habits that we use for the downward spiral, if we just change those habits, we can change the direction of the spiral, and we can have a much better lifestyle.
Love that.
Thank you,
Love that.
Travis.
Well,
That's amazing.
thanks to all of you again for another great segment. Looking forward to our next one. Want to thank all of you for tuning in here on Amazon Live. Also, those that are broadcasting with us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, also those joining us on YouTube and on Twitter. Appreciate you all for being with us. Appreciate the questions. And until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying, as always, thank you all for watching us here at Cyrus Webb Presents. You all have a great one. We'll see you all soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Good night.